I need to tell you something that might make you uncomfortable. Right now, as you're watching this, there's a silent epidemic destroying retirement dreams across America. And the scariest part? Most people have absolutely no idea it's happening to them until it's too late. Here's the shocking reality. Senior bankruptcy has doubled in the last 20 years. Let that sink in for a moment. People who worked their entire lives, saved diligently, and did everything they were supposed to do are losing everything in their golden years. And I'm going to show you exactly why this is happening and how to make sure it doesn't happen to you. The truth is, there are 5 financial landmines hiding in most retirement plans. These aren't exotic investment schemes or risky ventures. These are everyday financial decisions that seem perfectly reasonable on the surface. But they're quietly draining retirement accounts and pushing seniors into bankruptcy court. Stay with me because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what these destroyers are and how to protect yourself. Let's start with the first retirement destroyer, and this one catches almost everyone off guard. Healthcare costs that spiral completely out of control. Now, you might be thinking you're covered because you have Medicare. But here's what nobody tells you. Medicare only covers about 60% of your actual healthcare expenses in retirement. Think about that for a second. Almost half of your medical costs will come straight out of your pocket. We're talking about prescription drugs that Medicare Part D doesn't fully cover. Dental work that isn't covered at all. Vision care that you'll pay for entirely yourself. And don't even get me started on long-term care, which can cost anywhere from $50,000 to over $100,000 per year. The average couple retiring today will need approximately $300,000 just for healthcare costs throughout retirement. That's not including long-term care. That's just regular medical expenses. And most people have saved nowhere near that amount specifically for healthcare. This is why medical bills are the #1 cause of bankruptcy among seniors. It's not because they were reckless. It's because they simply didn't anticipate how expensive staying healthy would become. Here's what makes this even worse. Healthcare costs are rising faster than general inflation. While overall prices might go up 3% per year, healthcare costs are jumping by 5, 6, or even 7% annually. Your retirement savings might be growing at a modest rate, but your medical expenses are outpacing that growth by a significant margin. This creates a gap that gets wider every single year. Now let's talk about the second destroyer, and this one is absolutely devastating. Taking on debt to help adult children. I know this sounds harsh, but stay with me because the statistics are alarming. More than half of parents over 50 are providing financial support to their adult children. And many of them are going into debt to do it. Here's how this typically plays itself out. Your adult child faces a financial crisis. Maybe they lost their job, or they're struggling with student loans, or they need help with a down payment on a house. As a loving parent, you want to help. So you tap into your retirement savings, take out a home equity loan, or co-sign on a loan. It seems like the right thing to do in the moment. But here's the brutal reality. You cannot borrow for retirement. Your children can get student loans, personal loans, and mortgages. But there's no such thing as a retirement loan. Once that money is gone from your retirement accounts, it's gone forever. And the compounding growth you lose is something you can never get back. Let me give you a concrete example. If you withdraw $50,000 from your retirement account at age 60 to help your child, you're not just losing $50,000. You're losing all the growth that money would have generated over the next 20 or 30 years. At a modest 7% annual return, that $50,000 would have grown to nearly $200,000 by the time you're 80. That's the real cost of helping your adult children financially. And here's the thing that makes this even more painful. Many adult children don't understand the sacrifice their parents are making. They see their parents' home equity or retirement accounts as resources that can be tapped. They don't realize that their parents are jeopardizing their own financial security. And by the time everyone realizes the mistake, it's often too late to recover. The third retirement destroyer is something that seems completely innocent on the surface. Underestimating how long you're going to live. This is called longevity risk, and it's one of the most dangerous assumptions you can make about your retirement. Here's what happens. Most people plan their retirement based on average life expectancy. For men, that's around 76 years. For women, it's about 81 years. So they calculate their retirement savings based on living maybe 10 or 15 years past retirement age. Seems reasonable, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. Because averages don't tell the whole story. If you make it to age 65 in good health, your actual life expectancy is much longer than those average numbers suggest. A healthy 65-year-old man has a 50% chance of living past 85. A healthy 65-year-old woman has a 50% chance of living past 88. And if you're part of a married couple, there's a 72% chance that at least one of you will live past 90. Do you see the problem here? If you plan for a 15-year retirement but end up living for 30 years, you're going to run out of money. And running out of money at age 85 or 90 is a nightmare scenario. You're too old to go back to work. Your health is declining. Your options are extremely limited. This is exactly how people end up in bankruptcy court in their 80s and 90s. But it gets even more complicated. The longer you live, the more expensive your life becomes. Healthcare costs increase dramatically as you age. You might need home modifications for mobility issues. You might need to hire help for daily tasks. You might eventually need assisted living or nursing home care. All of these expenses compound over time, and if you've underestimated your lifespan, you haven't budgeted for any of them. Here's the fourth destroyer, and this one is particularly sneaky because it disguises itself as being responsible. Paying off your mortgage too aggressively in retirement. Now, I know what you're thinking. How can paying off debt be a bad thing? Let me explain why this can actually destroy your retirement. The conventional wisdom says you should enter retirement debt-free. No mortgage, no car payments, no credit cards. And on the surface, that sounds great. Who wants to make mortgage payments when they're retired? But here's what that advice doesn't account for. Liquidity matters more than equity when you're retired. Let me break this down. Say you have $300,000 in retirement savings and a $200,000 mortgage balance. You decide to pay off the mortgage completely because you want to be debt-free. Now you own your home outright, but you only have $100,000 in liquid savings. Congratulations, you're house rich and cash poor. Here's why this is dangerous. You can't pay your electric bill with home equity. You can't buy groceries with the value locked up in your house. When an unexpected expense comes up, and it will, you have very limited options. You could take out a home equity loan, but now you're borrowing against your house at a higher interest rate than your original mortgage. You could do a reverse mortgage, but those come with significant fees and complications. Or you could try to sell your home, but that takes time and comes with massive transaction costs. Meanwhile, if you had kept that $200,000 in your retirement accounts and continued making modest mortgage payments, you'd have much more flexibility. You'd have cash available for emergencies. Your investments could potentially be earning more than your mortgage interest rate costs you. And you'd maintain your financial options instead of having everything locked up in an illiquid asset. Plus, here's something most people don't consider. Mortgage interest is often tax deductible, especially if you itemize deductions. But the growth in your home equity isn't generating any income. It's just sitting there. From a pure financial perspective, having a low-interest mortgage and keeping your money invested often makes more mathematical sense than being completely debt-free. Now let's get to the fifth and final retirement destroyer. This one is perhaps the most insidious because it happens so gradually that you don't notice until the damage is done. Failing to adjust your spending in response to market downturns. This is what financial planners call sequence of returns risk, and it can completely devastate a retirement portfolio. Here's how this works. Let's say you retire with $1 million and plan to withdraw $40,000 per year, which is a 4% withdrawal rate. That sounds sustainable, right? But what happens if the market crashes by 30% in your first year of retirement? Now your portfolio is worth $700,000, but you're still taking out $40,000. That's now almost a 6% withdrawal rate, and you're selling investments at depressed prices to fund your lifestyle. This is the retirement death spiral. You're withdrawing money when the market is down, which means you're selling more shares to generate the same dollar amount. When the market eventually recovers, you have fewer shares left to participate in that recovery. Your portfolio never fully bounces back, and you're on a path to running out of money. The problem is compounded by human psychology. Most retirees are reluctant to cut their spending. They've worked their whole lives and feel entitled to maintain their lifestyle. They think the market will recover soon, so they keep spending at the same rate. But every dollar they withdraw during a downturn is a dollar that can't benefit from the eventual recovery. It's gone forever. Here's what makes this even more dangerous. Many retirees increase their spending over time to keep up with inflation. So not only are they maintaining their spending during downturns, they're actually increasing it. This accelerates the depletion of their portfolio. By the time they realize the severity of the situation, they've often passed the point of no return. The solution requires discipline that most people find extremely difficult. When the market drops, you need to cut your spending proportionally. If your portfolio drops by 20%, you need to reduce your withdrawals by 20%, at least temporarily. This preserves your capital and allows you to participate in the recovery. But it means making real sacrifices to your lifestyle at exactly the moment when you're already stressed about market conditions. So what do you do with all this information? How do you protect yourself from these 5 retirement destroyers? Let me give you some concrete action steps you can take right now. First, get serious about healthcare planning. Don't just assume Medicare will cover everything. Look into supplemental insurance policies. Consider a health savings account if you're still working. Build a specific healthcare fund that's separate from your general retirement savings. And most importantly, factor in the reality that healthcare costs will increase faster than general inflation. Second, have honest conversations with your adult children about financial boundaries. This is uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Make it clear that you love them and want to help, but not at the expense of your own retirement security. Encourage them to build their own financial independence. If you do choose to help financially, make it a gift you can afford, not a loan that jeopardizes your future. Third, plan for a longer retirement than you think you'll need. Add at least 5 to 10 years to your life expectancy estimates. Yes, you might die sooner and leave money on the table. But that's a much better problem than running out of money while you're still alive. Build in a buffer for longevity, because the cost of being wrong is catastrophic. Fourth, think carefully before aggressively paying down your mortgage in retirement. Run the numbers with a financial advisor. Consider the interest rate on your mortgage versus the potential returns on your investments. Think about liquidity and flexibility. Sometimes keeping a mortgage and maintaining liquid savings is the smarter financial move, even though it goes against conventional wisdom. And fifth, create a flexible spending plan that can adapt to market conditions. This might mean having a base level of essential expenses and a discretionary spending budget that you can cut when markets are down. It might mean having multiple years of expenses in cash so you don't have to sell investments during downturns. Whatever strategy you choose, build in the flexibility to reduce spending when necessary. Here's the bottom line. Retirement planning isn't just about accumulating a big pile of money and hoping it lasts. It's about understanding the specific risks that can destroy even a well-funded retirement. These 5 destroyers: healthcare costs, helping adult children, underestimating longevity, over-prioritizing debt payoff, and failing to adjust spending, are responsible for the majority of senior bankruptcies. But now you know what they are. You're aware of the dangers. And awareness is the first step toward protection. Take action on these insights. Talk to a qualified financial advisor about your specific situation. Make the hard decisions now while you still have time to adjust your course. Your future self will thank you for the foresight and discipline you showed today. Don't become another statistic in the senior bankruptcy epidemic. You've worked too hard and sacrificed too much to let these destroyers steal your retirement dreams.